Hi. Okay, so today I'm going to take you into one of the most electrifying and life altering passages of the soul timeline, the Uranus opposition. So, this is a rite of passage that arrives between the ages of 42 and 44. It comes in around 42 and then it lasts about through 44. And so, you're going to be feeling it prior to 44 and you're going to be on the other side of it, on the other side of 44. Okay. So it is one of the true thresholds of our life, often referred to as the midlife crisis, or I prefer to call it the midlife awakening. Okay. So this particular plot twist moment is absolutely defined by radical change in your life. It is about getting very real and very true with who you truly are and how you truly want to live your life. And so, is your life built into the design that you would like, right? Your design. So, just as the Saturn return brings you to responsibility and alignment at age 29, at age 60-ish. So Uranus comes around for you at 42 to essentially break the mold, to shake you awake and to liberate parts of your soul that have been trapped or asleep, essentially, right? So Uranus takes 84 years to orbit the sun. And so around 84, we have the Uranus return, which is a complete full circle event of liberating the heart into true essence of self. Hopefully, that is what is occurring for people at that age, living truly authentic by now. So, at age 42, and also around age 21 is the square. And then around age 62-ish is the second Uranus square. So we have these four, like a cross, these four pivotal transitions and initiation stages that are all about the revolutionary impulse to rebel and to really break free from conditioning and break free from the past in whatever way that is essential and meaningful to you. So you want to know where your Uranus is in your chart. What house is it in? Is it in? This is the territory of life. This is the soul work for you that is all about the liberation and the freedom of your soul into true, authentic, unique self expression, and also the genius codes where you are creatively a genius in your own right. So the Uranus opposition arriving at 42 arrives to the exact opposite point of where it was at your birth. So where your Uranus is in your chart, the Uranus opposition. So it's going to activate an axis. If your Uranus is in the ninth house, it's activating the third house, ninth house, in the fourth house, 10th house, in the fifth house, 11th house, and so on. So it activates this polarity experience, this integration of who you are and who you've been with the evolutionary impulse to evolve into more of self on in that particular theme, depending on what that axis is all about. So it really creates this very electrical tension across the chart, right? Like a polarity of freedom versus limitation, breakthrough versus breakdown. It's about truly accessing your unique self and being true to how you want to live. So at this stage, the soul says or speaks like enough of who you thought you had to be. It's time to become fully embodied with who you really are. So it's not necessarily a gentle invitation. This is a time, it's disruptive. That's the point. That is sort of the mechanism. It's essentially to disrupt the status quo that you've accepted. So Uranus comes in like lightning. It is the symbol of the lightning bolt. It's unexpected changes, sudden insights, upheavals. It is the planet of liberation, authenticity, innovation, genius, revolution, rebellion. And at this midpoint moment, this transition, this particular rite of passage age, it demands that you remember your sovereignty, that you tap your genius, that you must get in touch with your unique self, that you must learn to express yourself and be witnessed in your uniqueness, in your creative expression, in whatever way that is unique to you. So, from an evolutionary perspective, the Uranus opposition, it's a crack in the shell of conditioning and who we're supposed to be or conditioned to be, or the judgments of the society, the family, the culture, the relationship. So in the first 4 decades of life, much of our energy is invested in building identity, right? Like family, career, relationships, roles, responsibilities. And or for some, there's a rebellion against those very things, right? But in some way, Uranus opposition is going to bring this rebellion towards what has been established, and what is can no longer be carried forth is not essential. Maybe a lot of us, sometimes there is the creation of lives that don't stick anymore. Divorces happen, careers can't be carried forth anymore. It's considered the midlife crisis time, right? So people go through things like it's nearly midlife, or it is midlife for people. And so it's like, how, yeah, I've lived this far, and what next? What now? So it's a check-in, it's a soul check-in, it's a cosmic check-in. Are you free? Are you alive? Or are you simply surviving a script that you adopted or you fit yourself into? Okay, so if you are out of alignment, this is when breakdowns, divorces, career shifts or upheavals, or just radical shifts often happen. And if you are aligned with your creative expression and tapping your genius, it can still feel very electric, pushing you into just ever more daring, authentic, expressive territory. So there is definitely a push and a pull towards radical, honest expression. And it's like Uranus, this archetype energetic of Uranus, it's not interested in comfort, it's interested in your liberation. So part of my story with at this particular time, prior to that, I was going through my Neptune square, and Neptune was opposite my sun and squaring my moon. And oh my goodness, was this a ancestral karmic confrontation that I went through? First of all, I left the island I had been living for 20 years. Right around 37, at the nodal return, a new direction set in. I had no idea why or where I was going to go. I just knew that I needed to go. And then I ended up moving to another country. I became pregnant, Neptune opposite my sun. I decided to leave that country to also leave the person. And I ended up in a state I had never lived in before to get closer to my family. And there I went on to experience a family member dealing with pretty intense alcoholism. And also, my mother was grieving the death of her husband. It was sad. There was sadness. There was grieving going on. And in Neptune fashion, the Neptune square, I was very much like, how did I get there? How did I get here? How did my life turn like this? This is what was not what I was planning, was not what I expected. And it was in Neptune square, Neptune fashion, an ultimate surrender. I really had to let go. I did not relate to being in this state. I had never wanted or intended to come to. It was just like, why am I here? Where am I going? How do I get out? What is this about? But as I said, I very much felt it was a karmic, it was a karmic thing that I was meant to go through, and I surrendered to that. And I cultivated a whole lot of trust and a whole lot of faith in myself. And with Neptune opposing my sun and squaring my moon, I tapped into a lot of creativity. And I actually wrote and created my personalized birthday book, the Soul Map book, with which I know some of you have. It's sold to over 500 people in the world since then. And it was an amazing creation, and it did come out of that time. But what I'm getting to is that after that 4-year period, exactly on time, exactly at 42, when my Uranus opposition activated, I all of a sudden was moved from that state, and I moved to the big island of Hawaii, where I had always dreamed of moving to since I was 18 years old. It was the actual, it was my dream. It was my intention for decades. And I got there. And then I bought a home with my mother, my dream home that I also had always intended and dreamed of. Having on the big island of Hawaii, I met the love of my life, my husband, all within this 3-month time. And my life, you can see, completely shifted. And it was radical change, radical transformation, and grounding me into more of my authentic self, the destiny that I actually, in fact, had been dreaming in my entire life. So really fascinating example, one of which I have like countless many from people I know and clients I've had. So it is truly a revolutionary time, and you just want to expect magic. You want to expect yourself to get closer and closer to the ultimate dream, to your truth, to your truth. So that is how you must work with it. Let go. Let go. Don't be afraid to step into the unknown and take the leaps and go towards what you ultimately desire and want for your life. So the evolutionary intention of the Uranus opposition is to shake you free from what is false so you can step into your true genius. And it awakens the rebel archetype in you even more than it has ever been. And so it's not rebellion for its own sake, but it's rebellion for authenticity, for truth, and for expression. And it is the soul speaking and saying, I will not be caged. I will not live another's dream. I will not play small for the comfort of others. I am the creator. I will create my life. I will create my dream. I will live my dream. I will live the destiny. So this passage invites you to claim radical self-honesty, to break agreements with the patterns of the past that no longer serve you, and to truly align with your higher vision for the next 4 decades of your life. Okay, so in the soul timeline, it's the great crossing from the first half of life, the building of form, material, into the second half, the anchoring of true soul purpose. So how do we navigate this passage consciously to stay open to the disruption, to the change, right? Because we inherently fear change. We fear the unknown. So when the lightning comes, it's like, don't cling to the burning tree, right? Let what needs to fall, fall. Let it go. Know that this is a move on, step forward, release, and step into the unknown time. So trust the unexpected. Know that your genius is calling, that you are tapping into greater awareness that essentially is going to move you forward. It's a quantum leap time. It's an acceleration into a higher path for you. So yeah, Uranus often works through surprise. So what seems like chaos is actually like a higher order of your soul breaking through. And so you want to claim your authenticity, right? What is my truth now? Not 5 years ago, not 20 years ago, but now. So embrace freedom. This is not selfishness. It's about really focusing on yourself right now. Selfishness as a necessity. This is the soul necessity. So you're being asked to live unchained because your freedom becomes the medicine for you and your life and your family and the collective, essentially, right? So okay, so let's bring it home to your charts, right? You want to know your chart. You want to know where your Uranus is. You want to know what house it's in. If you don't yet know how to read your chart, astro.com is an easy place to go. Go register, get your chart. If you want to learn more about studying your chart, come into my astrology community. There is a couple hundred people already in there. It is an amazing space that I am leading people through every week, every month with the astrology. You can post charts, you can chat with others, you can make friends. And also, I run an entire school and certification process program and membership where you can come and learn your chart and study your chart directly with me and be in live classes with me. So it is a really incredible place online. I have created it to be like nothing else out there. So I would love to have you in. Contact me. It's all over my shop and my socials. You can find it and me out there. Okay, so in your chart. So Uranus in the sky will always oppose the nodal Uranus in your chart at age 42, 44. So wherever Uranus is, if you're going through this now, then you have Uranus in Sagittarius, most likely, or you have your Uranus in the very end of Scorpio. So Uranus has been transiting the end of Taurus right now that I'm making this in 2025. October, and Uranus is currently at the very beginning of Gemini opposing the Sagittarius. So, but the flavor of this passage depends on which houses are activated. So it's an axis, so that you definitely want to know. So let's take Uranus opposition through the houses, right? I'm gonna work it through the axis. So the first house, seventh house as an axis. This is the pillar of relationship to self, relationship to others. So if you have Uranus in one of these two houses, it is all about self and other. So it is about awakening of self versus relationship, and a direct need to have partnerships and that mirroring experience of perspective. This is directly how you know yourself, through shared experience. So depending if you have it in the first house or seventh house, it's going to change up the dynamic some. And if there are any other planets involved, conjunct Uranus or opposite or square, it's going to bring in a variation. And obviously we are very complex. The birth charts are, every single one is unique as every single one of us, and the dynamic endlessness of our psyche is actually what a chart is showing. There is no end to a chart. It can be read over and over. You can read your own chart for a lifetime and beyond, because that is the depth of psyche, right? We are infinite beings. There's all kinds of potential and potentiality that can happen within. So yes. And I also teach the evolutionary astrology method and the Pluto formula, which is a direct pathway to quickly and simply understand the core soul purpose and life purpose and core soul intention that a person is born for in this particular incarnation. And so if you want to learn how to look at your chart from that perspective, also reach out to me and I will hook you up with some pathway to do that. It is the most profound technique and method to really deeply understand in a very quick way your own heart, what is in your heart, what is in the heart of your partners and your family, and so on. It's yes, I have been doing this for 20 years. I have been professionally devoted to evolutionary astrology and this methodology, and it is mind-blowing and beautiful and has enhanced my life in ways I can't even communicate clearly. So moving on. From the first house. Well, the first house is entirely right. It is the pillar of relationship, self, and others. So there's a huge, Uranus is about liberation of your true identity beyond the mirror of others and within the mirror of others when we're talking first and second house. Okay, so now the next would be the second house and eighth house axis. Okay, and this is deepening the relationship with self. Second house, deepening the relationship with other. Eighth house, this is deep merging. This is where we really feel the attachment, the commitment, the devotion, the fact that we change people and other people change us, the fact that we merge, we affect on a soul level. We change people by contact with them, right? That is who we are as human beings, and that is the effect we have on each other. We are souls that are powerful, and that is intense. And that we really see in the eighth house archetype opposite the second house. And so it is also the house of resources, wealth. So money with Uranus, freedom in finances and values and shared resources, and breaking from dependencies, unhealthy dependencies, because dependency in and of itself is perfectly natural and normal and necessary. We do connect, we do bond, we are responsible for people, and we provide for people, and people provide for us in a multitude of ways. So dependency and is not in and of itself a negative. Codependency is not in and of itself unhealthy, but it can become unhealthy. And so that's, we look at that in life. And so radical changes in intimacy and trust and power. Second house, eighth house deals deeply with power, self-power and the power of others, and what actually we do with that. And it's also a territory of incredible self-mastery, really confronting and meeting with your own limitations and transcending them, and moving into higher levels of self-mastery through transformation. This is the underworld zone. This is the butterfly that we transform. And the butterfly melts, the caterpillar melts into liquid acid and becomes something completely different, right? It is an alchemizing of self into something else. So this is a powerful, powerful territory. And then we step into the third house, ninth house axis. And this is all about the awakening of the mind. And so if this is where you're born, with Uranus, there's a high intellect and mental experience going on where you're learning directly through education and information and communication and opinion and truth and belief. And this is a powerful avenue to navigate. It's entirely the mind and what's going in the left brain, right brain, logic, nonlinear, linear, conceptualizing, perception realms. It's super powerful. So shifts in beliefs, education, worldview, culture, huge amounts of restlessness in your environment, because third house, ninth house is already a very like go, 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 expand, move on kind of energy. So the urge to break free and to explore is on hyper hyperset. So yeah, that's going on there. And then from third house, ninth house, we move into the fourth house, 10th house. And this is all about sovereignty, emotional intelligence, leadership, leading oneself, personal authority, social authority, external authority. How do we stand up and deliver and be sovereign beings in our own agency? This is a very powerful axis. If you have this here, and I'm not getting into this so much in this video, but Uranus is also the archetype of trauma, where we have and can experience the traumas of our own life, or the ancestry, or what we the memory, the Akashic records in our own psyche around trauma. So with each house, that is where we're going to be able to identify where that wounding. Uranus is connected to Saturn and Chiron, this the trauma matrix principles. We can understand the whole deep wounding through these symbolisms. And that's something I teach in another class, but it's really profound when we get into the pain body, that we each have. We carry pain, we carry suffering, and we transmute it, and we transcend, and we turn it into medicine. And that's also a journey, like the medicine path. And some people walk it entirely, and some less, but we all journey through pain and suffering, right? And so the fourth house, 10th house is so much about family, career. So home shifts, upheavals, professional revolutions and rebellions. So it's a call to redefine your roots and your legacy, and to really up level, go to the next level in your emotional intelligence. So, if we need to go and learn more and connect with others and get guides, like that's what we need to do, regardless, whatever house it's in for you. And so after the fourth, 10th comes the fifth and 11th. And this is the axis of creativity and creative self-expression, and being the creator of your life and actualizing your life, and the connection that makes to the community, to the higher purpose of your creation. Like, does our creation serve a greater purpose or whole? And so awakening to your authentic expression and liberation comes directly through creative expression. It's showing up for your desires and showing up with who you are. And so shifts and changes in relationships, groups, like affiliations and tribes can change, liberating your genius to serve the collective on a bigger level. The 11th house can really usher in like change in environment, change in groups. Like, this is Uranus naturally rules the 11th house in Aquarius. So there can be a lot of life-changing situations going on. That is where I have my Uranus. My Uranus is in my fifth house, and it's opposite the 11th house. So that's where my Uranus opposition was. And as I mentioned, I went from living in a state in the USA to moving to the big island of Hawaii. And so it was a shift in environment entirely, and culture, and the whole thing. So 11th house can very much bring that on with different transits in life. And then so the last axis is the 6th and the 12th house. And so the natural Pisces, Neptune, Pisces, Virgo, Neptune ruled 12th house. So it's all about spirit and body. How well are we channeling our spirit through body into the physical world and manifesting our actual reality, manifesting our spirit into reality, right? This is always the call when it comes to 12th house, 6th house, and strong Virgo, Pisces, like to be tapped into the infinite and to channel it and harness it and ground it into the actual material physical world that we actually live in, and to use our bodies as the temple, as the vehicle that they are of the soul to materialize. That's what we do, right? We are creative beings who materialize things. So the 6th house 12th axis can be like radical awakenings through the body and through health, through work, your great work, your skills, through spiritual awakening, through confrontation with your day-to-day, your routine. There's a need to free yourself from old patterns, ancestral patterns, collective patterns. It can be powerful spiritual breakthroughs. Spiritual slap downs, as I heard someone say. So this is a very powerful time, 6th house, 12th house. So to end this transmission, I would like to close with, let's just understand that the Uranus opposition is the great awakener. It is the lightning bolt. Okay, that's the symbol. It's the lightning bolt. It's a light bulb that goes off. Awareness dawns in. So lightning strikes and cracks open the sky of your life, we can say, right? Your world opens up, and it can be disorienting, but it is here to free you. So remember this. Your soul signed up for this moment. This is your soul timeline. This is destined. You are right on time. This is meaningful, and there is purpose. And if you are here in it now, know that you are right on time, right? This is an invitation to live, to create the second half of your life from soul, not from conditioning, to break free of that and to feel liberated in your heart and truly in your true self. So, thank you so much for joining me. And I just wish you so much love and blessings on this journey if you're in this transit. And yeah, drop a message if you'd like to connect further. Let me know if you've watched this video and what you think about it. And I would love to stay in touch. Aloha.